Failed with minor repairs, repairs by a fully licensed vendor. Permit may be required. Engineer oversight, 3 site visits. Certification with owner liability in the year of a load test. Load test still may be required by the AHJ.
Farscape engineers inspect the summary. So this is a fairly new Farscape, probably in the past 5 to 15 years. This is an all galvanized Farscape, and what it needs right now is routine maintenance and minor structural repair. And the reason why, even though it's an all galvanized Farscape, the grading is a different style of grading. Snow does accumulate. This is made so that women's high heels don't go through, but it does allow it to accumulate snow and ice. They use salt here, I'm sure, and you're going to see the result of it downstairs. You must keep giving this a maintenance coat of paint every year, but more importantly, you got to seal the whole thing up with silicone so that water doesn't get back down into this. So must be structurally sound, must be kept painted. There's only one thing stopping me from certifying this Farscape at this time, and I'll be able to show you that underneath. But the fact that water is getting in here through these cracks is the key. Silicone shut this, give it a paint job on the top, primarily on the top, always. Silicone shut the tops. That way when you throw salt or chemical onto this to de-ice or whatever, the stairs, because the grading is so tight together, it does have the tendency to build up snow. So you need to seal all of this. So these all pass, but they're not going to pass in 5 years. So you need to routine maintenance. You got to get some sealant on that right away. And then, as you can see, the reason being is that once you get inside here, you're going to start seeing this is the beginning. Next time I inspect this, I won't pass it because they become suspect. They're currently not suspect right now, but this is. Look at all that. That's just all welded, and that's all the water getting in behind with the chemical, and now it's rusting. So we're still early enough that we can clean that out, drill it and put in one-way screws, drill it and put it in back-way screws. But look, you probably got less than a 1/16, but that's the indicator that says these are all now suspect. As soon as I put in bolts, I don't care about these welds anymore, and as soon as I seal it from above, we're not going to get that problem. But look at what problems it does give. Look at all this. It's eating all your material, so we got to stay on top of this because you're throwing chemical here. Even underneath, look at all that galvanized. So galvanized usually lasts at least 20 years, and you're not going to get 20 years out of this galv unless you keep throwing some paint on top and paint on bottom. So this needs routine maintenance every 2, if not 3 years. Otherwise, I would recommend every year. Take a look at the connections. The connections are shop welded and then field installed with bolts, even though they welded it. See, so that's a very important piece. The shop welding is an approved method as long as the fixed connection also has some bolts in it. So that's an approved weld, and you can see quality. The bolts allows me not to even concern myself with what's going on with the connection. Shop welded, approved, shop welded, approved. But look, bolts, bolts, bolts. So any fixed connection must have a bolt so that it can move with the building, expand and contract with the heat and the cold. Okay, so shop welded, approved. If this was field welded, I'd need a gusset on this. Okay, so a lot of these connections are major structural, minor structural, can be done in the field, but only if it's done by an approved certified welder, not anybody else. So as you can see, all these connections, any major connections that we deem to have an issue, such as this one, see this one right here? Why we would here, because there's no bolt, it's weld, and there's a field weld, it looks like a fix. We would actually basically bolt that up. On one side of it, we needed to bolt it up. So that way, on both sides, if we don't believe in the quality of the connection. See that one right there? Same thing. So while we're dealing with the angles, we're going to deal with that clip right there and bolt both sides to basically eliminate a field weld that doesn't look as good as all the other ones that were shop welded. Okay. So this Farscape does not pass certification. It is one of the main exit ways here. So even though we're not certifying it and we're deeming it unsafe, it's still ready for its intended use. This is more of a maintenance situation, in that should be addressed before it gets too cold and this fire escape will certify. So it's got less than 25% structural issues with it, and less than 25% on the paint. So it's a 25-25 on this. Any questions? Fire escape engineers, 866-649-0333.
Load test still may be required by the AHJ. Failed with minor repairs. Repairs by a fully licensed vendor. Permit may be required. Engineer oversight, 3 site visits. Certification with owner liability in lieu of a load test. Fire escape issues. Photos represent what the violations are, not where they are or how many exist. Pass-fail inspection, not technical repair report.